evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lisa Mitchell. I'm Manchester Township PTA's co-chair for programming and events, along with Sarita Dodd. It is such a pleasure to present this year's PTA Mini Grant Awards. Each year, the PTA awards $5,000 in Mini Grant Awards to applicants who have been carefully selected by the Mini Grant Committee. This committee consists of voting members, including the current PTA board members, PTA community members, and the non-voting co-chairs who oversee the process and procedures. The co-chairs remove indicators from the application, such as the applicant's name, school, grade, etc., so the committee may vote impartially. The applicants focus on the needs of their students and how they could provide additional educational items or programs that are not covered in the district budget, and they will enhance students' educational experience. All recipients have been notified about their award and will receive the ceremonial check this evening. The actual awarded funds have already been distributed to the school administrators. Okay, we'll begin with the high school. Mr. Will Schmidt.
First of all, I'd like to thank the PTA for this. I really do appreciate this. This means a lot to me and to my students, so thank you very much. What we're doing is, in our classroom, I teach environmental science. So one of the things I wanted to do is, I wanted to do a stream quality assessment to test what the water quality is and the type of animals and invertebrates that live in the stream. So what I picked was the Union Branch. The Union Branch flows from Lake Horicon and Lake Hurst, spills out of there, passes the high school under the railroad trestle, and ends up in Pine Lake Park. So I previously had made contact with Save Barnegat Bay, their organization, and they had come out and they had taken us out there and did some water sampling there. But I'm like, you know what, I don't want to have to depend on them every single time we want to do water sampling. So that was the purpose of this grant, was to get the money so that when it was appropriate, I could take the students out there at any given time and do the sampling ourselves and not have to depend on an outside organization to do it. So between all that money that we'll receive, we'll be able to buy waders to go out there, we'll be able to see what kind of fish are swimming in there, kind of invertebrates, and as you know, I do the BASF project too, so maybe we'll buy a camera and see if we can catch some deer running around out there. And then after the water leaves Pine Lake Park, Pine Lake Park, it spills out to the Toms River, which dumps out just south of the Route 571 bridge there where they stock trout. So it's very important to the state that the water quality coming out of Pine Lake is good quality water for the trout to live in. And then that dumps out into Barnegat Bay, which anybody here that eats the clams or crabs or catch fish in Barnegat Bay, it's important to you that that water is good quality water too, and then that spills out into the ocean. So we also work with the watershed ambassadors, to try to make sure all the water quality in Ocean County will maintain at a high quality. So we can get this point across to the students that, you know what, you throw a bottle outside your car when you're driving down the road and goes into the sewers, it's going to end up in the Toms River, it's going to end up in the bay, it's going to end up on the beach when you're out sunbathing over the summertime. So if I can get the point across to everybody, to all my students, that there's a big picture here, that's what I want to get to them.
At the middle school, Nicole, Baldelli, 12 music stands.
Thank you. Well, kind of as was said already, I'm getting music stands for my students. A lot of times when my kids come into the band room, they're really excited to get their music on the stand, get their instruments out and ready to go, and it's usually kind of a struggle for them. They got to kind of run around the room and find where did the good one go, because the stands, you know, you lift them up and then they're like, okay, this is the perfect height, and then they let go and then they fall, or they're kind of like bent and wonky. So this will be that they can come in and just be ready to go and kind of feel proud that they have equipment that can support their music and their learning.
At MTS, Mel Firetto for a pop-up gym and game room.
Once again, I'd like to thank the PTA for the support, always being there for the students at MTS. At MTS, we want to promote welfare of our children and have them have a great start each day. We're looking forward to purchasing a new child treadmill and exercise bike for a reward/behavior management program considered a pop-up gym. Thanks from the staff and also the students at MTS.
At Regional Day School, Megan Lambusta for games and resources for indoor and outdoor recess.
I didn't know I had to prepare a speech, so I apologize. But we're trying at Regional to do like a new indoor-outdoor recess thing where the kids are a little more active and a little more entertained. So we wanted some new supplies to be able to do that, so we have less behavior issues. So that's all. So thank you.
And also at Regional Day School, Phoebe Pennypacker for 2 patio benches, a garden fountain, yoga mats, and fidget items.
How's that?
Accepted.
Do I get her money?
You have to give a different speech.
She's been working really hard on mindfulness, so this kind of goes along with her
That's
whole
Thank
thing.
you.
Thank you.
At Ridgeway School, Gina Foss, an Apple iPad mini and case.
My grant was called I Teach, I Learn, because I've had the opportunity this year to pilot a new math program for first grade, which we're hoping we get next year. And in this program, one of the amazing components is technology, where they can differentiate for the children. And using technology, of course, through the iPad is what the children all want to do, and that's the first thing they look for to go when they come in the classroom. So thank you very much. They're going to be very excited to go on it when they get in.
Thank you.
At Ridgeway School, Nikki Mazur for Books for Global Cultures.
So thank you to the PTA who are so supportive, but I'm so excited about this because I really was spending some time thinking about how I can encourage just a love of culture and diversity in my school. So I wanted to bring books in where it would really give exposure to the children about different ethnic backgrounds, just a cultural awareness. So my vision is to actually have these little mini book clubs and invite the students. They would sign up to come and have a book club with the principal. I would read them a story about a culture. I would buy them lunch, and we would be able to share with that. And then my goal is actually to have my book club become bigger and bigger as the students actually bring in a buddy, and we expand it to different grade levels. So super excited about this. So thank you very much.
Also at Ridgeway School, Crystal Policastro for Math, Language, Games, and Puzzles.
So I requested for literacy and math games. I work with some of our youngest struggling learners in the special ed and basic skills capacity. And at this point in the year, especially my kindergartners, still trying to learn those letters and sounds. We really need a lot of materials because just using sound cards from our foundations program can get a little bit, mundane or, so I think that having these learning materials will make it still exciting so they can get those skills down.
At Whiting School, Stephanie Boyd for Playground Communication Language Board.
Thank you very much. This is basically something that I saw that was a great idea posted on one of my speech therapy Facebook groups. That this is it's a giant communication board that I will have printed at a sign company that's local. And basically it's a communication board, so a student that's minimally verbal or nonverbal, instead of using their textbooks, Whiting is a unique school because we do house the autism program for the elementary level. So some of our students are nonverbal, they're learning to talk, and some just don't have enough language to communicate effectively. So what they are going to be doing is I'm going to be training once we get it, and the weather is nicer. We're gonna go out on the playground and practice pointing to what they want and practice saying it at the same time, instead of having them run all the way back to their textbooks, which they end up leaving on the fence. So it's another way to enhance their communication.
At Whiting School, Julie Seegers, 1 table and 3 floor seats for flexible seating.
Thank you to the PTA, and on behalf of Ms. Seegers, who teaches first grade, she wanted to integrate some more seating that's different from what she currently has. She's trying to really extend the idea of flexible seating and use some things that are different for kids and make it ultimately a difference in how they are receiving all the instruction that they have in the room. So she's already has some materials, and she wanted to continue to extend that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Stay right there.
And our last award at Whiting School is for Miss Swift for Sensory Path decals.
Thank you. Congratulations. So at Whiting, as Stephanie already said, we have a very diverse group of learners, and our sensory path is going to allow us to use some of the things that they already do to really allow them to tap into touch and sound and all of the different kinesthetic things that they do. And it's like into a brain break. We do have a small area of the building that we're going to be using, and we really are excited about what it's going to do for our kids.
Congratulations.
Thank everyone who applied for this year's mini grants and ask you to please encourage your colleagues for next year. The PTA is always grateful for the dedicated staff members of our school district, and we look forward to awarding them each year. Thank you also to the board for your continued support of the PTA and always allowing allowing us to present these awards each year.